Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Paramagurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarvagurubhyo Namaha. We'll be doing the 12th lecture now. Shri Lakshmi Narasimha Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Hayavadana Parabrahmane Namaha. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Krishna.
Okay. So we were doing this 12th lecture. Suddenly what happened was I was going to continue with the content of the 12th lecture, but I think Hema Iyengar has called and asked a couple of questions on some fundamental aspects. I thought this was very important to deal with. That is, what is Buddhi? What is Manas? What is exactly what are the differences? So these are some fundamental questions. So I thought I would address these issues first and then go to the content of this lecture. So this is the classic picture as given in the Katha Upanishad. So what Katha Upanishad says is Indriyani hayanahuhu. That means the horses are like the Indriya. This is an analogy in our body. The analogy of all these with respect to a chariot, what Katha Upanishad talks about. The senses are like the horses. They just go where they're interested. If uncontrolled, they go towards anything they want. All these senses keep on giving continuous input to the human being, like the taste, touch, smell, sounds, and vision. So these give information, and this information constantly are received. Mind sorts of controls and coordinates this information. Mind coordinates this, but if mind is out of control, the Indriyas can force us to experience whatever it shows. And if mind has no control, we will just experience whatever we feel like. So there is no control. Buddhi is the higher intellect. So manas are like the ropes. The ropes can be let loose. The ropes can be tied. If the ropes are held together by the intellect, Buddhi, then the horses are controlled. That is, the Indriyas are controlled, and they do only what needs to be done, what should be done. Our body is like a chariot, and the person sitting in the body is us, whom we call I, or the self, or Atman. Katha Upanishad says it is Atman. I'm sure each Acharya, some Acharyas may have different views on it. Except Shankaracharya, people would have slightly different view on it. Shankaracharya probably would have a view that is Atman is Brahman, and the self is, self will fall away. If the jnana comes, the self will go away. Hence, all the body and the mind and the indriyas, they don't mean anything after that point, and Atman is separate, right? That may be a separate view from Shankaracharya, but in general, this is a very practical view. Practical view is, we call ourselves I as the individual self, right? And then this person is sitting in the chariot, but most of the work is being done by the Buddhi, intellect, mind, and the senses. So if the mind gets polluted, then it doesn't feel like having any control. Even the Buddhi can get polluted. There is good Buddhi and bad Buddhi. So Buddhi is determined intellect. That is something which is determined as this is right, this is wrong, right? Nishchayatmika buddhi, I said, right? So buddhi means something which is determined as right or wrong or good or bad. So it is quite understood. For example, if I put my hand into flames, it will burn. So that's a very determined knowledge. Oh no, I will definitely not go near the flames. This will be our feeling, right? So the determined aspect of it is buddhi, nishchayatmika jnana. The I as a consciousness is not exactly, it is sort of in control in some ways. It is connected with this buddhi very seriously, that is, they're very closely knit. Again, different systems may have slightly different views. So one has to control the horses. That means one has to control their senses and mind, and then they would be able to lead a better life, a controlled life. Any questions on this particular slide?
Krishna, this is Srinath. I have a quick question.
Okay.
There is a Shastric statement that says Buddhi Karmanusarini, which kind of leans towards to believe that Buddhi anyway follows karma. So where is the interception of Bhagavan here?
See, okay, buddhi karmanusarini is a generic statement, right?
Yeah,
So your intellect is determined by your past karmas.
that's true.
From
That's what,
maybe in this janma, in this life, or in a previous life or a previous millions of lives, you might have done a lot of things. And all those karmas will create some kind of impressions in your mind, and you will get a personality, you will get an ahamkara and many things like that. Ahamkara is a personality due to samskaras, that is due to tons of experiences which are stored inside your chitta. Chitta is a part of the manas. So because of the storage of so much of information in the past, millions of janmas, so you will have some kind of a personality. And your intellect can be clouded by your past actions, right? Let us take, for example, just a simple lame example, nothing very big deal about it. A person is say we will compare two people. One person always watches movies and always enjoys sensual information, and that's all he does. His life is dedicated to fun, enjoyment, and then satisfying his senses, right? On the other hand, another person is very knowledgeable in the sense that he'll understand what else is there in the world, what are the goals of life, what should I achieve, what I should not achieve. Even if the person is trying to achieve a PhD in some kind of in some kind of a subject, it doesn't matter. The person is focused and say, well, if I'm watching movies, I won't be able to pass my exams, so I have to learn all these things. So the person will go in a different route altogether. So because he goes in a different route, he goes to the libraries, he sits down and talks to professors, he talks to so many intelligent people and discusses ideas, and he constantly thinks about these things so that he can perfect his knowledge on the subject matter he is interested in, right? So his senses and indriyas and actions and everything gives him a different set of storage information. And on the other guy, the guy who's interested in just movies and fun and nothing and all these things, he gets a different set of impressions. Both of these impressions color his intellect. Buddhi is colored by both of these impressions. So you still have the freedom. The jiva, or supposedly it has freedom, right? Whether it has freedom or not, whether it has a very high philosophical concept, in general, we can say it has some kind of freedom. At least in a practical way, I can stop the lecture right now saying that I have the freedom.
yeah,
right?
correct.
So the thing is, there's some kind of a practical freedom one person has. So one person has to say, look, The guys who just watched movies did not pass exams, they did not get good marks, and they did not end up in good jobs. And the guy who got a PhD got a job, and then he is making lots of money. So I might as well, I had to be careful about what I do. So the intelligence, one can use the intelligence to see what should be done and what should not be done. If this fundamental aspect is not there, then there is no question of do this and don't do this, right? The Shastra says, don't do this, don't go after just sensual objects, do this, you will get better, better happiness in the long term. If it says do's and don'ts, that means that there should be some kind of a freedom for human beings. So because of this freedom, we will be able to exercise the freedom and build a buddhi which is strong, which is what you really want out of it. Some people say, no, all I want is fun. And one day I will be working in the movies, and then I'll become a big good actor, and then I'll become a very rich person. That's a separate issue. That is what the person wants. That doesn't, freedom is totally up to them, right? People are free to do what they want to do. You asked a question, Buddhi karma anusarini. Don't take any of these sentences with 100% truth in it.
Okay.
Right? Because I have already told, even Lord Krishna's word should not be trusted. Oh, this is horrible, the way I am trying to say it. It's seriously, yes, we should not trust only some sentences. We have to take the whole meaning. For example, if you say, Lord Krishna says, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu. Every person who is born will die certainly. Dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Every person who dies will come back to life again. He will be born again. If the cycle is certain, that means there is no question of release from this bondage of the cycle of births and deaths. So if you just take two sentences of Lord Krishna and do not ignore all the things he said after those sentences, that's what you get. Even Buddhi karma anusarini is only one word. Who said it? Why was it told? Does the sentence have any kind of ifs and buts and conditions? So we have to look at all those things. Every rule has some kind of an exception. So we have to understand that. Okay?
Agreed.
All right. Next.
All right, Krishna. Thank you.
So in general, the shloka in the Katha Upanishad says, Atmanam rathinam vidhi, shariram rathamevatu, buddhistu sarathim vidhi, manah pragrahayevacha, pragrahamevacha, indriyani haya. I'm sorry, this verse may be a little bit erroneous. I just pasted it from internet. I didn't even check the verse properly. Indriyani hayanahu, vishyan steshu gocharan, atma indriya manoyuktam, bhokta ityahuhu manishinaha, atmanam rathinam vidhi, shariram rathamevacha. Atma is the guy who's sitting in the chariot. Sharira is the ratha. Manas is the ropes. The indriyas are the horses. And the objects which the horses see are the objects of the senses. Bhokta, or the experiencer, is sitting right in the chariot. So this is the just an explanation of this verse. So in this picture you see body is the external one, senses are slightly internal, mind is even a little bit more internal, and then intellect is very much within us. The soul is the I. Now is the question, am I the soul? Right? Who am I? This becomes a very big philosophical question. As you know, Ahamarta Atmavadaha is a particular chapter where this particular concept as Ahamarta means the concept of I. What is the object denoted by the term I is Ahamarta. Is Ahamarta same as Ahamkara, or is Ahamarta same as the soul? Ramanujacharya and Madhvacharya say Ahamarta is soul.
Yeah.
Shankaracharya says Ahamarta is not soul. Ahamarta is just an ego. And the soul-ego complex will all wither away. And what remains is Atman, which is not the individual self, it is the universal self. That is Shankaracharya's view. I just wanted to make it clear while we're dealing with it. Okay. Just give me 1 second, just 1 second. So there is this particular subject of manas, chitta, ahankara, buddhi, and all these aspects. They are explained in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras in depth. Well, of course, the sutras are very, very minute and few one-liner kind of things, but the explanations behind them goes to pages and pages. I'm only trying to give some kind of idea here. So the objects are there. The eye is the physical apparatus, right? That is the instrument of sight. And just by looking at the object, it doesn't really register into the brain. May be there. You may be sleeping with your eyes open. If you but you're still not figuring out. Your mind has to become active, right? The mind is that which connects the sensual knowledge into the brain and then to the self. So mind has a particular serializer kind of a role. That means it tells what to focus on. See, if you open up your eyes and look at everything in front of you, I'm sure there are 1 million objects in front of you. If you take every speck of what you can see, there may be millions of things in front of you. But the mind focuses and grasps only what it wants. It gives a guidance to the indriyas to figure out what the individual wants to know about. And that's why mind is a focusing kind of a thing. And it also there's also one other analogy is given. The Jiva is the person, is a king, like a person in a court. Jiva is the king, right? Jiva has 10 ministers, which out of 10 ministers, 5 ministers are intelligent ministers. They are the senses. And 5 ministers are operational ministers. They just execute. They are the karmendriyas. Karmendriyas are body, walk, that is speech, pani, that is hands, pada, legs. Like that, we have 5 karmendriyas. There are motor organs, right? Sensory organs are the intelligent ones, in the sense that they senses. They give inputs, like the eyes, ears, and things like that. So the mind can just take the information and do what it can do. But an intelligent person like the Buddhi has to decide and tell the mind to figure out what to do with the impressions and what impressions to go after, what impressions to not go after. But mind is very powerful too. Mind can, because of the past experiences, it can take the focus away. For example, many people go sit in a class. For example, even now in the same class, right? Many people may be listening, but some people say, oh, I might rather, why am I listening to this Krishna's lecture? I should have gone to some movies or something like that. So the mind may take that person away to a movie hall, right? I'm just joking. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody listening here. I'm sure you guys are very, very serious. You people are very serious. Just take it as a joke. Then this ahankara is, it gives a sense of the I. In a way, it is, ahankara is something like what you call yourself as I. In fact, if you say, yes, it gives a personality to yourself. If we can say, oh no, this person is a very harsh guy. Oh, this is a soft guy. He is a considerate person. Oh, this lady is very, very cruel. We say different things because we understand that person has a personality. The personality has come over millions and millions of births of getting samskaras, information, storage of information, and as well as making the personality, which is very, very close. It's very hard to give up your personality, by the way. It's not easy to let go who you are, right? So that is the ahamkara, which is which is the I sense in a way, the I maker, ego, we can call it as ego. Antahkarana is something, the inner organ. The Antahkarana is actually the organs which are not outside, it is inner. Because it's inner, it's like a combination of mind, chitta, ahamkara, buddhi, and all. Chitta, for example, chitta, we didn't deal with it. It is storage of impressions. It's like the database of impressions. Probably we have a database. It's something like a write-only database. Hardly we erase it. We don't erase information that easily. It is write-only, no erase. Interesting. Even somebody who made this body had some computer science courses he had taken, I think. Creator had taken some computer science courses. So the mind has different functions. Samshayo, nishchayo, garva. Samshaya means doubting. Nishchaya means determining this is right or this is wrong. Garvaha means it is more related to ahankara. Oh, look, I come from this kind of family. I come from India. I have to be like this. I come from China. I come from here, right? So the past, the relationships, the experience in the past has given the personality and as well as pride to that person. That pride is also mental. Smaranam, remembering things, is also mental. Forgetting things is also sort of mental. So these are the functions which constantly engage us in our life. We are engaged in this world, and all these things are happening. Information is flowing from the senses to mind. The buddhi is acting, the chitta is acting, the ahankara is acting. It's like a multi-party, continuous activity kind of a system here. Any doubts on this?
So when we sleep, Krishna, what is actually resting?
So the mind does not act, and the connection to the sensory world is lost.
Okay.
And if you are not even dreaming, even the mind is completely quietened. See, in dreams, mind can be active in a different world. You create your own. They say God creates an inner world called the dream world, right? So the dream objects, the dream, so thinking that, oh, I'm a king and I'm enjoying this world. I won over so many enemies and then I captured so many palaces and everybody and things like that. One can be dreaming. But where did these palaces come from? Where is this? Even you picture yourself as a personality there. Where did this person come from? All these are mental images. They say it's created internally. God creates it. That's what people say. But it just comes up. So the mind is still active there. In fact, for example, suppose you are totally afraid, suddenly a huge serpent comes right after you in the dream. You'll be very afraid. For some time, you will really feel the fear, and you're trying to rush and all those things. Really, in reality, if you think about it, your motor organs are not connected to your mind at that time. Your body cannot run at that time, but you still feel the fear because you know that the mind is telling you that the serpent with sharp fangs are right behind you. It has opened its mouth, and then you have to run. But there is the disconnect between your motor senses and your mind, so you cannot run. So you can feel the anxiety, but you cannot run at that time. Rarely, this is the Advaita, subroutine to this. Rarely you'll be able to wake up. So will wake up from the sleep if that experience is very powerful. But if the experience is not that powerful, you may still sleep and experience the fear of snake. But if you're totally asleep, that mind also is rested. The dream objects are also disconnected. The external objects are also disconnected. People say you're embracing Lord Parabrahman within you. In fact, the Upanishads say, what do you call? You come to the same state, whoever you are. It could be a lion. It could be a tiger. It could be a mouse or a snake, or a human being, or a king, or a pauper, or a beggar. It doesn't matter. When you are in deep sleep, you are hugging that Paramatma, that is God within you, and you are disconnected from your worries. You're disconnected from the external world. You don't remember the homework you need to do. You don't remember the deadlines you have to face. The next day you wake up and your boss is waiting to beat you up if you don't really get something done. You don't remember all those things in deep sleep. You're totally given a free ride for a few hours to rest and not have any kind of ups and downs hurt you or affect you. And will you have ananda? You only have ananda to some extent, that you are disconnected from the problems of the external world. But really speaking, you don't really have the pleasure because you still have ajnana, because of tamas or darkness or ignorance. You're not enjoying and experiencing the Brahman within you. You're not. But at least you're given a free time without any worries of the external life. Okay?
This is Hema. I have a question.
Okay.
Do we think and feel using our mind?
Please repeat again.
See, we say, I think this is correct. Sometimes we say, I feel this is wrong. So does thinking and feeling happen with the mind, or does heart play a role in it?
The thing is, there mean the walls between manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara, the walls may not be as straight as these straight lines written in this picture, in the turning wheel picture, right? So feeling is more mind related, and thinking is more contemplative and intellect related. But both are accessing chitta, which is information stored, and both are obviously guided by ahankara, or the previous set of millions of years worth of database information and personality created because of past experiences. All these things are working together.
Okay. So what is the role of heart? Hridaya.
Heart is physical, but in Sanskrit, Hridaya does not mean the heart which you to get transplant. You know, somebody has a heart transplant, but they take this old heart away and put a new heart, right? That is not exactly same as Hridaya of Sanskrit. Hrit manasam manaha. Hrit also means mind in Sanskrit. So Hridaya, then you opened up a bigger problem here, okay? What it is Hridaya. Hridaya can be even taken as dahara kasha, or internal inner space. Hrideshe Arjuna tishtati. Ishvara sarvabhutanam. Hrideshe Arjuna tishtati. Roughly, it is the heart. Roughly, it is. If somebody says, "Who are you?" I. We first say, we take you ask anybody. If somebody, you ask a question, "Who are you?" I am the king of this place, or I am the boss of this company, or something like that. You always touch your heart like this, right? So something that I is supposed to be inside here. Everybody has a different view. Is I in the brain, or I is here? My feeling is, what I have found is, I can be moving anywhere. When somebody is meditating, the eye is moving from chakras to chakras to chakras. When a person is sleeping, that eye is supposed to go into a nadi, or a spiritual channel called puritat. So if somebody is having a dream, the eye is traveling into another nadi inside the spirit, a psycho-physical channel inside our body, or where somewhere here, in a separate channel, which takes that person into the dream experience, right? So the Hridaya is a complex entity. Hridaya is like, some people say, if you look at meditation, a person can go and see an inner world, and that is known as Dahara Kasha. That is a space called Dahara. And Dahara is bigger than the space of universe what we live in. Think about our universe as something what we experience as using our senses and body and intellect. and Dahara is something which is inner world experienced by upasana or meditation. And Dahara, that heart is roughly called as heart, but the physical heart is different, right? So somebody says that if the jiva is contained in the, or the self is contained in the heart, what happens when the person gets a heart transplant? Well, will he get a new soul inside the body? No. That means the soul can be, when you take the physical apparatus of the old heart out, the jiva goes into some other place and waits till you come back. And then they put an old mechanical heart or some other, borrowed heart, and the jiva goes and start, playing around somewhere inside. So that's how our consciousness works. It's hard to, nobody knows this for sure. Go ask the doctor. Go ask a neuroscientist. Go ask anybody. We haven't seen it. Neither has the neuroscientist seen it. They may have a better feeling than us because the person has done a lot of research, and so I'm sure the person is much more intelligent than me. But this is hard thing to understand and realize because we don't see it. Any more questions?
Thank you. That's it.
Great. So I was explaining the same thing. Manas is a supervisor, like a supervisor of the senses, right? The important thing is that the old impressions can give you wrong information and your buddhi can become wrong. So that's another problem. Your ahamkara can give you a personality because one person understands the same information given in a lecture or a class in a way, and some other person understands it in a different way. For example, if I see a tiger, a female tiger, for example, right? I see a female tiger. I see, oh my God, this is my last day. Oh my God, I'm running. But that female tiger's cubs, when the little cubs see the tiger, it will go and embrace the tiger. Those little cubs will go embrace the tiger. See how the difference is? Because my mind and body intellect is different from the mind body intellect of the tiger cubs. So like that, as a human being also, we have different coverings. Because of these coverings, we think differently, we decide differently. You can read these slides a little bit deeper to get better understanding. Some people call, witnessing chitta, and chitta is a witness. This becomes deeper and deeper and deeper, and probably this goes into the science of Yoga Sutra, understanding all the sensations, feelings, thoughts, and how to control them using different methods, using pranayama, breathing techniques, using other things, other kinds of methods. So this becomes a complex subject. We'll leave it at this point. We'll come back to it if we have any questions. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Ahamkara is here. And now, the topics we discussed in the last chapter was Shankara Bhashya on Sthita Prajna. In this chapter, we will take a little bit deeper view of Ramanujacharya's, why Ramanujacharya takes Jiva as the subject of the chapter 2. And in fact, very different from all other acharyas. So we need to go a little deeper into this. So we will go, also we'll set up a important stage for the Ramanuja Bhashya, and even Dvaita Bhashyas like Madhu Bhashya also is similar in way. Unfortunately, today I will not be able to go into Madhu Bhashya because we don't have much time. We'll go into Ramanuja Bhashya in detail, and then come back to Madhu Bhashya in the next lecture. Okay? Now, let us take Ramanuja Bhashya in the final parts of second chapter. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vinirmuktaha padam gacchanti anamayam. See, here, remember the karma yoga was explained there. And by giving up the fruits of karmas, actions, one will become freed by the cycle of births and deaths, and he reaches padam gachanti anamayam. It goes into it. He gets a state of problemless, diseaseless state, pure state. This pure state is taken in the Ramanuja Bhashya as it could be anything. It could be what do you call it? It could be Jiva, self-realization or Paramatma realization. But Paramatma realization does not come directly, so first it will be self-realization. So it says Swaswarupa Avirbhava Purvaka Brahma Prapti. That means once you realize your own self, after realizing your own self, later on you will get bhakti. From bhakti yoga, you will get attainment of Lord or realization of Brahman. That is one way of understanding it. Desha Vishesha Prapti Purvaka Prapti. Some people also, it's also say, Desha Vishesha means you may go into a different land or different loka, and there you experience different, different experiences. That is also possible in this shloka. In Shankara Bhashya, this says Vishnoho mokshakyam param padam gachanti. So here in Shankara Bhashya is moksha itself. So that is not true in Ramanuja Bhashya. Now, look at this shloka. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyev atmanatushtaha sthita prajnastadochyate. In the Sthita Prajna, first verse of Sthita Prajna, what Lord Krishna says, this is explained in Ramanuja Bhashya in a slightly different way. Sorry, I think that slide is not very correct. I'm going to delete it later. Eva Muktaha, Ramanujacharya says in the very beginning, Eva Muktaha Parthaha Asanga Karmanushtana Rupa Karma Yoga Sadhya Sthita Prajnatayaha Yoga Sadhana Bhutayaha Swaswarupam Sthita Prajnasya Anushtana Prakaram Cha Prachati. What does Arjuna ask Krishna here? Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya sikeshava. In this verse, Arjuna asks Lord Krishna about Sthita Prajna. So what is the nature of this Sthita Prajna? Ramanujacharya explains. First, Lord Krishna explained to Arjuna karma anushtana, that is action without interest in the fruits, without thinking that he is the doer, asanga. Karma yoga sadhya, sthita prajnatayaha, yoga sadhana bhutayaha. Karma yoga sadhya, that means doing karma yoga will give you capacity to do yoga sadhana. That yoga sadhana is Sankhya yoga there. And so there, Swarupam. Swarupam means his own form, that is our own self. So reaching Swaswarupa, or realizing who I am, knowing who I am, seeing who I am, that's what knowing is done in the Sankhya yoga, that is theory. But in Karma yoga, you actually get the realization in the sense that you see the self. That is, avalokanam is seeing. And continuing this anushtana, jnana nishta means because of karma yoga, the person gets purity of mind, and the mind is stable. And because the mind is stable, one can do jnana nishta, one can do jnana yoga. And the jnana yoga prakara, or the methodology to do jnana yoga, is asked by Arjuna. So this is the question of Arjuna. Samadhistasya sthita prajnasya ka bhasha ko vachak shabdaha tasya swarupam kedrisham ityarthaha. What is the nature of Sthita Prajna? That's what the question is. We have already gone through it. I'm just mentioning certain aspects here. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyev atmana tushtaha Sthita Prajna stadochyate. So, vritti vishesha katanena swarupam yuktam bhavati vritti vishesha uchyate atmanyev atmanam. Vritti means his activity. The Sthita Prajna's activity is this. What? Atmanyeva Atmana Manasa. That is, using by the mind, he is content with the self itself. And his whole interest and focus, locus, resort is Atma. That is the self. He's very happy with self. He doesn't need external objects. Tad vyatiriktan sarvan manogatan, whatever comes into the mind, whatever different other than the self-knowledge, whatever comes to the mind, he gives up with a power. He is in full control of the mind. He just ignores, deletes them. If he can do that, he is a Sthita Prajna. His mind is focused. Jnana Nishta Kashtayam. That is, this is Jnana Yoga's highest level of maturity. Now, see, the Vedanta Deshika explains here, Manasa Atmaiva Atmaika Avalambanena Tushtaha iti. Tena Toshena. Vedanta Deshika gives the example of Prahlada. You know the story of Prahlada, right? Hiranyakashipu wanted to kill Prahlada. So he tried many different ways to kill. Then he says, okay, this time I'm going to kill him using serpents. Very powerful. I will throw him in a pit of serpents. And he throws the Prahlada into a pit full of serpents. The snakes are all over him. And actually, the snakes do bite him. Satvasaktamati Krishne Drishyamano. This is, I think there's something wrong there. Mahoragaihi navived atmano gatram tatsmrityachlada samsthitaha. When the snakes started biting Prahlada, who is only like a 5-year-old boy, or 5 years old. There are so many snakes. Think about like 10 snakes biting him all over the place. And every time it bites, Prahlada remembered only Krishna. In his mind was filled with Krishna. And more powerfully the snakes bite, all he thought is only Krishna. Because his mind was completely focused on Krishna and he was enjoying Krishna so much, he did not feel the pain of the snake bites. This is what is said in the Vishnu Purana. So that is the level of power, of stability what a Sthita Prajna should have. And if he has this level of focus, then he is a Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajna Vishaya Shloka Chatushtayam Tad Avastha Chatushtaya Vishayamiti Manvanas Chaturthiyam Avastha. Aha. The first shloka is the highest level of Sthita Prajna. This is known as the Vashikara Samjna Vairagyam. Here in the Vedanta Deshika makes a distinct demarcation of these 4 levels of Sthita Prajna. Here he calls it as Vashikara Samjna. This is the highest level of Jnana Nishta. Here, the Vashikara Samjna is explained in the Yoga Sutras as Drishta Anushravika Vishaya Vitrishnasya Vashikara Samjna Vairagyam. That means whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you think, all these kinds of sensual objects are all completely under control in this state. This is the Vashikara Samjna. So he has complete control. He does not get even perturbed by any of the external issues. For example, Prahlada did not even realize the pain of snake bites. Probably initially when the snake started biting, maybe he had a little bit of problems and he had a feeling about the snake bites. But when he focused on Lord Krishna completely, he forgot himself. Dukkeshu anudvignamanaha sukeshu vigataspраha vita raga bhaya krodha sthitadir munirichate. This is the next stage of Sthita Prajna. Ramanuja Bhashya, he goes stage by stage. I just want to bring this clearly so that you know. Anantaram jnananishtasya tato arvachena dura viprakrishta avastha uchyate priya vishlesha adi dukkha nimitteshu upasthiteshu anudvikna manaha. When something wrong happens, when somebody's what's really coveted thing, he loses something which the person really wanted, or which he or she wanted. He loses somebody whom he really wanted, or she loses someone she really close to. With even during those kind of odd, sad situations, this person does not have any sadness. Sukheshu vigatas prahaha. That means even if the person gets something which he wants crazily, even if good things occur to him, he does not have any. He is not tainted or exhilarated, or it doesn't go through any kind of exhilaration or oh my God, I got it. He does not. He just does not have the connection to it. He does not have the connection to those events. He does not have any liking. It doesn't matter. Something good happened. Oh, I got lots of money, or I got something I really wanted, a very, very powerful job, or something else. Lots of, whatever it can be. He is not affected by those entities. Vita raga bhaya krodha. Even if he doesn't, whether he gets the right things or the wrong things, he is without any desires, anger, or fear. We have already gone through this, I think. This is the second level, because here at least he expects some things are happening. He knows that good or bad it is happening to him, and then he controls his mind. So it is a little bit lower. So there is some vasana, or there is some samskara in this stage. In the previous stage, there is no samskara. The third stage is yes, sarvatra. Once you get all this good or bad, then he realizes, oh, I should not do this. I should not do this. I should not be elated. I should not be unhappy. All these things he realizes much later. So what Swami Deshika says is apakwan kashayan pakvebhya pritag anusandhaya. So the thing is, he looks at different effects on his mind, good and bad. Some he knows very well how to handle. Some impressions he does not know how to handle. Suddenly he gets blasted with a calamity of some really great kind. He doesn't know how to handle it. So it will take some time for him to figure out how to handle it. So he separates out what can be handled and what cannot be handled, and finally brings in a balance and somehow wins over them. This is the third level of Sthita Prajna, which is a lower level from the top. So the last one is Yada samharate chayam kurmongani vasarvasha, like how the tortoise withdraws its arms, its limbs, after fearing or something like that, and then controls it controls the senses. Similarly, after getting stuck with problems, getting into these problems, this person knows how to disengage and come out of it. So he is the lowest level of Sthita Prajna. These are the 4 levels of Sthita Prajna. So if you go from the lower to the higher, the first level is Yatamana Sankhya. That means he is still trying to withdraw the senses from the object. The second is the Vyatireka Sankhya. That means there is still a lot of raga, dvesha, hate, and liking, desires are still lurking around. But what he does is he separates out the mature and immature aspects of it. And then Audasenya means he goes away. He willfully says, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I will learn how to control my mind. So he does this kind of the activities to control the mind and still wins over the mind. That person is the second stage. The third stage is Ekendriya Samkhya, where there is still the anubhava of the vasanas, or the effects of, still there is some kind of impressions of the experiences, because those impressions of hate, liking have been developed over beginningless time or millions of janmas. So it's very hard to win over those kind of internal desires. So, but he knows that that can be controlled. He controls them. That is the Ekendriya Samjna. The last is Vashikara Samjna, where he is completely in control and all the vasanas and problems, desires, anger, everything is dissolved. And he is completely vairagya. He has vairagya. That means he is not affected by any sensual entities. So what is it? See here, the 4 questions asked was, Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha, kim prabhasheta, kim asita, brajeta kim. That means, how does he act, speak? Atma, so the answers are Atmaratitvam tasya swarupam. That means liking one's own self and experiencing, enjoying one's own self is the nature of Sthita Prajna. He only speaks of that. He only practices that. That is what do you call? That is how he lives. So his activities are focused on self-realization and self-enjoyment only. That's what is the answer here. So the approach to the one buddhi, there was a shloka, nasti buddhira yuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayata shantihe ashantasya kuta sukham. Here, if one is not, if one sense is not controlled, what happens? That person does not get any peace of mind. And the way Ramanujacharya explains is, Mai sanyasta mano rahitasya swayatnena indriya niyamane pravrittasya kadachidapi viviktatma vishaya buddhihina setsyati. Very important point. What he says is, if you yourself try to control your mind without any help from anybody else, you will not be able to do it. Because the power of the senses, power of the experiences had in millions of janmas can pull you away. Mai sanyasta manorahitasya. If you don't keep me in mind, that's what Lord Krishna says. Krishna says, keep me in mind because of my memories and my image in your mind. I can help you. If you remember me, I can help you. I can take you out of the quagmire of the power of attractions of the sensual objects and the mind. If one person's senses are not controlled, his feelings are not controlled, thoughts are not controlled, his thoughts and mind goes all over the place. That person will not be able to experience the beauty of the self. Because the person's consciousness is pulled into external world. And if the person's consciousness is pulled hither and thither, he cannot attain sukha or happiness. The final verse of the Brahma, Esha Brahmi Sthitif Prapta, Esha Brahmi Sthitif Partha, Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati, Sthitvasyam Antakalepi, Brahma Nirvanam Brichyati. That is the final verse. I'm only taking selected verse. I'm not taking the whole Ramanuja Bhashya. I'm just giving a taste of how Ramanujacharya builds the ideology, saying that this is Jivatma Vishya. So here it says, Yesha Nityatma Jnana Purvika Asanga Karmane Sthitihi. That means a person has the knowledge of the self, the individual self, and he does activities, that is, he is involved in activities. So Sthita Prajna is also involved in activities. Asanga Karmane Sthitihi, but he is not interested in the fruits or the ownership of the activities. He does not think he is the doer. Sthitadi Laksha Brahmi Brahma Prapika. This stage is not a final stage, but it leads you to the final Brahma eventually. Once you get this stage, you will not get deluded. You will not go back to samsara because you can control your mind. Even in the last days, if one controls the mind and becomes a Sthita Prajna, he will get Brahma Nirvana. Brahma Nirvana is Nirvanamayam Brahma Gacchati. Here Nirvanamayam Brahma means pure, sensual, inputless, Jivatma Sakshatkara. Here Brahma means Jivatma. Jivatma is in his full glory because he is not controlled by sensual activities, he is free, and in all expanse, he is realizing self. Sukhaitanam atmanam apnoti, that is, his self is also nature of purity and ananda, because Jiva has all the ashtagunas. So Jiva has ananda also. He has ananda. Eva matmayathatmyam yuddha kyasya chat karmanaha tad prapti sadhanatam ajanataha. So Arjuna did not know that the war was a methodology, the war was a pathway towards self-realization. Because doing the war with a mindset that he is not the killer, he is not the experiencer of the wealth, of the loot of the war, but he is doing it only to protect dharma. With this kind of a ideology, if he does, if he does fight in the war, he will get purified, and he will only lose the past encumbrances and past samskaras and karmas, and with a pure mind, he will get focus on Atma Sakshatkara, that is, focus on self, and then eventually he will get self-knowledge. So Lord Krishna has given Sankhya Buddhi, that is theoretical knowledge of the self. And through that, he said Asanga Karmanushtana, that means without any attachment to actions, one should act. And that will give eligibility to become a Sthita Prajna. And the Sthita Prajna details are explained in the second chapter. Tad uktam nityatma sanga karmeha agochara sankhya yogadhihi dvitiye sthitati laksha prokta tanmoha shantaye. Nityatma asanga karmeha agochara Sankhya Yogadihi, Dvitiye Sthiti Laksha Prokta Tanmoha Shante Gita. This is Gitartha Sangraha by Sri Ramanujacharya, the guru of Ramanujacharya. He has given a small work, he created a small work called Gitartha Sangraha. These are the guiding lines which helped Ramanujacharya to write the entire Ramanuja Gita Bhashya. So this line from the Yamunacharya is Alavandar is same as Yamunacharya is given here. So it's the same thing explained in 2 lines. That's all. So the question comes up again here, right? Why Ramanujacharya says is Jiva? Because once a person now he's in a battle, he sees all these people, he has all these emotions of pity, attraction, pity, and the feeling of if I kill some people will the pitras will be this will looked up indodika kriyaha, the udaka kriyas and everything will go away. The rights after death will all go away, and all the pitras will fall from here, from wherever they are, and back to the world. All these things he had, right? If he had that, from that perspective, initially, when you go to do self-realization, you can only realize the outer cover. The outer cover is the jiva. The first, for example, if a lion comes chasing me here right now, I'll run away. Why? Because I don't want the lion to even touch, any part of my body. Because I consider myself as the body. So initially, you consider body itself as you. And the real self-realization is the jiva within you, or the soul within you. And that is one level of self-realization. That becomes next. And eventually you will realize something inside, the power behind the self, the antaryami, the parabrahman, you realize later. That is the real Atma. So Ramanujacharya says that the time is not ready for talk about parabrahma realization here. It will come up in the end at the 18th chapter roughly somewhere. We will talk about Parabrahman after 12 chapters. We first say this with the Brahma and other terms only refer to Jiva here. The other thing is about koshas. This body is made of food. This is Annamaya kosha. We eat food and it becomes bigger, and this whole us is like we are like just a complex of this food modified and transformed into skeleton, blood, and muscles, and all those things. So we are Annamaya Kosha. And inside that, we have Pranamaya Kosha, we have breath. So to keep everything working, you have breath inside it. And inside that, we have Manomaya Kosha. That means the mind is our inner world. Oh, many of the even Western philosophers and other things, they don't separate out soul and mind. They just say mind and matter. So you have seen this term constantly used in literature, mind and matter, mind over matter, mind and matter. They only take two things. But we go into deeper layers actually. Mind is one layer. We call ourselves mind also. Then goes intellect, which is Vijnanamaya. With the Vijnanamaya is the intelligence inside us. So then we go deeper is Ananda, or the happiness. For example, even though truly our self is pure bliss, but we don't feel it. We get attached to the things around us. We think that all these are us because we haven't figured out who we are. So Ramanujacharya says we will not be able to find the inner self so easily. So first it has to go through self-realization. So Ramanujacharya even in Paravidyanga Bhutam, first one has to do karma yoga to get to make sure that God takes away all the purva karmas and his mind becomes pure. And then the person will become ready for Jnana Yoga, where he will focus on self, the Jivatma, totally. And once he gets realization of self, then he can eventually think about, oh, Parabrahman, that the God, Lord Krishna is a different person. Who is that Lord? Ishvara. We call it Ishvara. So that person, he has to understand who that Ishvara. Then the bhakti, he will be overpowered by bhakti eventually because he knows that, oh, I am not the ruler of this whole thing. Somebody else is the ruler. So who is that ruler? Ishvara sarvad bhutanam hridaya arjana tishtati. Though that Ishvara is inside the heart of everyone. Like that, so he realizes the inner controller, inner Lord, eventually through bhakti. And bhakti and jnana are similar. They are one, different sides of the same coin in a way. So through that, he will reach Parabrahman. The progress is slow and it's inevitable. You cannot change the speed of this flow. There is another proof for Ramanujacharya's insistence that, yes, the word Brahma, how can you use it for Jiva? The Brahma term is complex. In the 13th chapter, Brahma was used for even matter. Mahat Brahma. So the thing is, Brahma can be used for different entities. The 18th chapter, 50th verse says, Siddhim prapto yatha Brahma, tathapnoti nibodhame, tamasena eva kaunteya, nishtha jnanasya yapara. After one gets Sthita Prajnata, after one gets Brahma Nirvana or Siddhi, Lord Krishna talks about further experiences and inner details and further progress and different steps beyond. Hence, this Brahma Nirvana cannot be the last stage because Krishna would have not gone beyond a stage while explaining in the 18th chapter. So that is a technical issue that obviously other acharyas may not agree with it, but Ramanujacharya takes it in this way. I'm only telling you what is the nature of Ramanuja Bhashya here. I'm not trying to compare it with other acharyas. Other acharyas have different tastes based on their own views and timing and people around them. So that's not a big issue. And we can always figure out later how to think about all these three different Bhashyas and acharyas in a synchronous, in a very friendly way as to how these acharyas have helped us understand the inner truths of Bhagavad Gita. Each acharya has got his own methodology and his own wonderful contribution to the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, which hence we have to be very indebted to all these acharyas. Karma Yoga can directly give Atma Avalokana. That is also given in the 13th chapter. So that's Ramanujacharya mentions. So Karma Yoga prepares and gives basic eligibility criteria to start Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga can give direct self-realization, but has to be supported by Karma Yoga as an Anga. That means one has to be doing Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga cannot be given up completely. Aprananat, till death. Some of the karmas, Nitya Naimittika karmas, have to be done continuously. That is Ramanujacharya's view. Aprananat means till death. As for Shankaracharya, once a person is ready for a Jnana Ishta or Jnana Yoga, he has to certainly give up all works. All the Yagnihotra and other karmas have to be given up. And he is only contemplation kind of a person. He can only contemplate. And that is Shankaracharya's view. After self-realization, one becomes ready for bhakti, for Ramanujacharya, and bhakti is a form of jnana. This is, with this, okay, this is, with this we stop and we come back to our, okay. I stopped sharing and we are back. So any questions? Sorry, I had to go about a few minutes over. If you have any questions, please let me know. If not, we'll take up Madhva Bhashya in the next chapter and in the next class. I'm sorry I could not finish Madhva Bhashya. But probably, don't you think this pace is okay? Or is the pace too fast or too slow? Or am I saying something, repeating too much, what I repeated earlier? Please give me some feedback. This is very important. I would like you, like every one of you, even those who are live today, or even those people who will listen to this via YouTube, I would like you to think about it and tell me some feedback as to what I'm doing right, if something I'm not addressing it properly, my pace of this lecture, everything. Thank you. So any more questions? If there are no questions, I'll stop here. Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha, Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu, Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Hayavadana Parabrahmane Namaha.
Thank you, Krishna.